Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're working on our letter E, and as we work with the letter E, today's video is going to be on our steps for making our Elements of Art book. So the steps we did live in class. So today I'm just kind of going to go over a preview of how to do the steps and how we're going to do them together. So our first step, boys and girls, is I asked you to bring 2 sheets of paper. And you're going to take your 2 white sheets of paper and we're going to put them together at the same time and we're going to fold them in half. So I have 2 sheets together. I'm going to fold them. Okay, the purpose of today's video is so that you can pause it and you can watch it at your own pace. So if you miss a step, if you need to take your time to work with the elements of art, because we're looking at the elements, there's 6 elements of art. And with these 6 elements of art, each element is used to create a piece of artwork. So once you folded your 2 pieces of paper, you're going to take them out, take one out at a time, and this line right here where this invisible line is, you're going to put the glue there. And the glue, boys and girls, is going to help hold the book together. It's going to be just 2 pages, and you can use either glue. If I use this glue, I'm just going to run up and down the center 2 times. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to go up, and then I'm going to put my second page right on top. If I use the liquid glue, I'm just going to use very little bit of glue, and I'm going to put a very thin line right down the center. And let's see, this glue's might be a little clogged. There we go. Nope. There we go. That one's a little clogged. Up there we go. So once we do that, boys and girls, we're gonna then, it's a very thin line that I've placed, and you don't want a whole lot because if you have too much glue, it's going to be very, very wet, and you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer for it to dry. So once I lay the center or the pages right in the center, I'm going to make sure that they stay together and that they stick together. So I'm going to make some creases in my book. And then what I'm going to do next, boys and girls, is I'm going to design it. Now this book is going to open from this way, just like you would read a book. And since it goes that way, I'm going to use my clipboard here. And the first element that we're working on for our elements book is called color. And with color, we have to include what's called the color wheel. So with our color wheel, we're going to start with yellow on the top, and you're going to make a big circle. And then you're going to color it in. And yellow is one of your primary colors, along with red and blue. So take your time to color it in. It's like a yellow sun right at the top of the paper. Okay, next step, I'm going to pick out red, and I'm going to take red and I'm going to go right down here into the bottom of the corner. So the bottom here and over here, I'm going to put red and I'm going to put the blue. So as I make this big circle, I'm going to color it in red. And remember, boys and girls, that you can pause the video and you can make sure that you are staying on pace with what we're doing today and as we work. All right, so if you missed our art class, we did this live in class. So if you're following this video, you have the opportunity to pause it and rewind it and then go at your own pace. So these are our most important colors. There's red, yellow, and blue. What we're going to do next is we're going to take, if you have a black marker, you can use a black marker. If you have a pencil, you can use a pencil. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect all of these. So we're going to draw a line here, and then we're going to draw a line across the bottom, and then a line connecting here. Okay, so what's going to happen next is we're going to show what the colors make. So in between red and in between yellow, you get what color? Did you guess orange? Orange is correct. So I'm going to take the orange, and over here in the middle, I'm going to make an orange circle. If you remember from last week, these are your warm colors on the color wheel. And I'm going to leave my markers here so they're available for me to work. Over here, if I mix yellow plus blue together, what color am I going to get? Take a guess. You're correct. If you said the green is the color, you're going to get green. So over here, I'm going to put the color green. Because blue plus yellow equals green. And we're working on our color wheel. And boys and girls, I bet you guessed it, that at the bottom here, red plus blue, as you know, equals, go ahead, say it with me, purple. We have purple. So I'm going to put a purple circle right here at the bottom. And again, we're working on our letter E for our alphabet. And our letter E, boys and girls, is the elements of art. So the elements of art, this is a book we're going to create, and it has the elements of art. And the elements are, one of them is color. So the first one is color. Now we have to connect the secondary colors. So as we work with the secondary colors, we're going to connect them with what's called a broken line or a dotted line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take orange and I'm going to go across to green. So as I do that, I'm going to make a broken line or a dotted line. So it looks like a road. Okay, those are the secondary colors and they're the second most important colors. Now I'm going to go from green down to purple. Perfect. And then my last one is going to go from orange to purple or purple to orange. So I'm going to go here, and I don't really want to touch the red. So I'm going to go right to there. Now, if you'd like to, boys and girls, if you'd like to make a little circle in the middle, and if you'd like to take a pencil if you have it handy, or a gray marker or a crayon, you can add gray. Gray in the center of your color wheel is a neutral color, and we could put gray in the center. I don't have a gray marker handy, so I'm going to use my pencil here, and I'm going to fill that in. Perfect. Okay, and if you'd like to give it a title at the top, you can call it Elements of Art, or you can leave it as just the color wheel. All right, so I'm going to turn to my next page. As I open the book up, I'm going to open my Arts of Element books or Elements of Art book, and I'm going to go to this page, and I'm going to give it a little crease. By working on our color wheel, it gave a little bit of time for that glue to dry. So just like you would read a book, you're going to open it and then you're going to start. Let's start on this page over here, just so that we can make our next element on this page. The next element we're going to work with, boys and girls, is called lines. And we're going to start with any color you want. I'm going to pick up red. You can pick any color you want. The first line, I'm going to go across. I call it the bumpy line. So there's one. And then I'm going to go to my next color. And I'm going to make, I call this the double line. Now here, boys and girls, you can copy my lines, or you can make your own lines. If you wish to make your own lines, feel free to get creative. This one reminds me of a water slide. I'm going to call it the loop-de-loop line. And it's going to go across my page. So as you're creating your lines, you can be creative with the type of line that you wish to draw. And let's see. Next, I'm going to draw, I call this the boxy line. It reminds me of a box, or it reminds me of a castle. So I'm going to make it sort of squared at the top. And I call that the boxy line. And let's see, I'm going to go with the yellow next. And the yellow one, let's look around. If we see lines that maybe inspire us. You know what? I remember when I drew that dotted or that broken line. Maybe I'm going to make a double broken line. So I made a double broken line. So next, let's see, maybe I'm going to go across here and I'm going to make a sharp line. Up, down, up, down. And I'm going sharp like the mountains there, or maybe like a dragon's teeth, or like this shape here that I put on my portfolio. Okay, and then I'm going to finish. Oh, well, you know what? I probably have enough lines, but if you want to add one more, you can add one more. This one is the diagonal lines. So I went across the bottom of the page with my lines. So our first cover is the color. Then we have lines as the second element. Let's go to our third and fourth elements. Let's put our third and fourth elements on these pages. And if you want to skip a page, you can. But remember, we've got enough pages for us to put our colors and our shapes on. So this one I'm going to work over here to start. And this one's going to be our element called shapes. And shapes are shapes that we can make up, or shapes like the crayon box here. It's like a rectangle or a square. So if you'd like to draw them, if you'd like to color them, if you are in 4th or 5th grade, or maybe even 3rd grade, and you like to make three-dimensional shapes, maybe you can make a three-dimensional shape. Okay, I'm going to keep my shapes flat for right now. But if you're familiar with 3D shapes, give it a try. Triangle, rectangle, a heart. Let's give that one a try. A heart. I'm going to leave a little bit of white in there to show a little bit of shine on that heart there. Other shapes you have octagons, pentagons, rectangles, squares. Let's give it like an orange. Let's do an oval down here. Look around you. As I look around my art room here, I see shapes everywhere. I see rectangles in the windows. I see a rectangle on my chalkboard. I see squares on my paper towel dispensers. This is a rectangle. I have cylinders. This is a cylinder, okay? So as you're working with different shapes, you can keep them flat, or you can keep them two-dimensional or three-dimensional. So the next one we're going to work with, this is called value. And value, boys and girls, is something that goes from dark to light, or light to dark, whichever way you want to start. I've asked you to bring crayons if you have them. And if you have a crayon, I'm going to demonstrate here with this blue. And I'm going to demonstrate in two ways. I'm going to demonstrate in a crayon, and I'm going to demonstrate in a pencil. So these two can show great value. What can't show value is a marker. So if you remember when we did blending, water helped this to blend and make it a lighter color. The markers, or the pencils and the crayons, they're going to be better for blending to make it dark to light. Because what we can do is we can press down really hard with the crayon to where we're almost going to break the crayon, or we're almost going to make it so dark. And this color is called indigo. So I'm going to color down my page. And as I color down, I'm pressing down very hard at the top. And I'm going to go all the way down here to the bottom. And if you've ever been into a store, say a Walmart or a Lowe's or a Home Depot, they have paints pieces that have value of color, which means the darkness to the lightness of a color. So I'm going to shade it down all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to go really light as I get to the bottom of my paper, to where I'm barely touching the paper. Perfect. Okay, if you wish to show it with a pencil, maybe you don't have a crayon, but you'd like to use a pencil. Shading with a pencil, same way as here, I go very dark. This is great for making shadows or making something look realistic by showing perspective in it. It's going dark to light. And as I go down my page, I'm just lightening up on my pencil. Maybe I go all the way down to where I barely touch it, and then I run it all the way back up. And if you'd like to, with this one, you can even take your finger and you can rub the pencil and you can rub it and smooth it out. But sometimes it even gets on your finger and gets a little messy. But that's okay. So we've done 4 elements so far. We have color, lines, we have value, we have shapes. The next one here is one of my favorites. And I'm going to open my book up because while we've been working here, we've had time to let the glue dry. And remember that you can pause the video at any time and you can go over the steps that you need to go over. For this next one here, I'm going to work with the color orange. You could pick one color, and for this one here, it's called space. Actually, maybe I'll change it to black so you can see it a little bit better, okay? So with this one, you're going to put a circle down here. And I'm going to put mine in the corner. And this circle is going to be the biggest one. And space is showing things that are close to us are going to be larger. Things that go further away are going to be smaller. Itty bitty. So our first step, I'm going to color in this circle. And then as I go back further into space, my next one, I'm going to go back to this corner up here. Okay, and as I do that, this one's going to be like a medium size. It's still pretty large, but it's going to be the second biggest on my page. And now I'm going to go smaller. And see how many you can fit as they go back into space. Space is our next element. So we go from dark to light, from big to small. To where I'm just going to probably put a little dot on my page to finish it off. So as it's going through the page, it looks like it's getting smaller, further and further away. Okay, that's space. That's our 5th element. Boys and girls, we're on our last element of the day over here. And with this element over here, I'm going to combine it with markers and crayons. And what I'm going to show you is a couple of things. Let's see. If I have a blue spotted, a blue spotted bird, or maybe I'm working on a design and I want to show texture. Texture is our last element, and this last element here showing texture is something that you can feel. It's soft, it's bumpy, it's rough. And in class, I showed some pictures of some things in our slideshow that were maybe bumpy or soft, or maybe you were near something like a blanket. I'm going to color that there very lightly, and it's just going to show maybe a spotted, a bumpy texture. Okay. Now, if you're working with grass, okay, maybe you come across with some grass blades, and remember these lines. If we combine lines, shapes, and colors, we can show texture. Maybe it's a green furry monster, and I take my green, or maybe it's just green grass. And I can show different kinds of textures. So with my last one here, maybe I just make a furry, and I'm just going to put a couple of lines. Remember those diagonal lines or those vertical lines? And here, maybe it's just shading with maybe fur or hair. And I want to use maybe my pencil to put a little bit of gray in there. So this is showing texture, something that looks like it feels furry, hairy, soft, any of those textures that you know about. Okay, so let's get ready to stop here. And before we finish today, just a reminder of our elements. Our first one was color. Our second one was lines. And these are elements of art that help to create types of art. We have value. Value is shown by going from dark to light. And then there's shapes. Shapes are shown for flat shapes, 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional. This one was one of my favorite, which was space, like outer space. And then you have over here texture, showing texture. Okay, well, you know that we don't like to end without giving our Pokemon pick of the day. And our Pokemon pick of the day is Eternatus, and its deal damage is 220. And if you can see it here, maybe you'd like to match it in the chat, or maybe you'd like to compete with it at the end of class. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for looking at our letter E today.